What's up guys, Dan here from DHTV, and today we're going to be reviewing the Nubia Z20, a very unique dual display smartphone packed with features at a surprisingly affordable price. Let's get started. So as usual, we'll be taking a quick look around the box, and it's very simplistic. You have the Nubia branding on the front, the Z20 stamp up top and the bottom, and on the back we have some key features and information that we'll be taking a look at in just a bit. Now the Z20 comes in two colors, twilight blue and black, which is the one we're looking at today. And this model also comes with 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage at about $549. Opening up the box, you have the SIM ejection tool, manuals and documentation, a screen protector, a clear case, and the Nubia Z20. We'll take a closer look in just a bit. You also get your charging adapter, USB-C charging cable, and a USB-C to 3.5mm headphone dongle, both in red, which is a nice touch. Powering on the device, we'll take a quick look around the Z20, and the first thing you'll notice on the front is the almost edge-to-edge 6.42-inch 1080p Full HD AMOLED display. Taking a closer look, you'll notice that the glass curves slightly along the edges. Flipping to the back, you have the triple lens camera, which we'll be focusing on in a bit, and the second display, which is 5.1 inches. Moving to the side, we have one of the fingerprint scanners and the volume up and down rocker. Flipping the phone to the other side, we have the SIM tray and the second fingerprint scanner, and both of these fingerprint scanners actually click, so they're going to double up as your power on and off buttons. Over to the bottom, we have our speaker, USB-C port, and a microphone. You'll also notice the design is a little bit indented, and you can see two antenna lines. Up top, it's very similar in design with the indented look. You have another microphone, and you have two antenna lines once again. Now, in terms of functionality, the Z20 is running Android Pie with Nubia UI 7 on top, and I found the UI to be pretty nice as it looks a lot like stock Android, and there isn't too many apps or bloatware taking up space. Now, the dual screens here is obviously the most unique feature of this phone, and flipping between the two is very simple. On screen, you see there's a digital button. This can actually be removed if it annoys you at all. But when you tap on it, it'll shut down the main screen and the rear screen will now be active. And you can pretty much do everything you could with the main screen on this rear screen. And it's also running the full version of Android. It's just in a 5.1-inch form factor. Now switching back to the main screen is also very simple. You can utilize that digital button once again, or you can pull down your quick settings and tap on the switch button that way. Now, there are many benefits to having a dual screen phone, one of which is the fact that you can use the rear display with the phone's best camera when taking selfies or in video calls. You're also going to benefit from a true full screen display on the front without notches or big bezels that most phones these days use to hold a much lower quality front-facing selfie camera. As for the Z20's triple lens camera, it's packing a 48 megapixel lens with optical image stabilization, a 16 megapixel ultra wide lens, plus 3 times optical zoom. That means that you can zoom in 3 times what you see without losing quality. It also has some cool features like a super night shot mode, and as you can see on screen, it's definitely going to improve your photos in lower light situations. Now, aside from selfies, you're probably wondering what else is the second screen good for? Well, if you're into mobile gaming, the Nubia Z20 is definitely a step above most. For starters, the Z20 is running a Snapdragon 855 Plus processor, which is used in many flagship phones today. This means it's going to be able to handle pretty much any game you throw at it with ease. With that being said, you can utilize a feature called Game Space and configure the rear screen to act as a touchpad to add functionality, almost like having rear triggers on a controller. Multitasking is also taken to a new level with the dual display. For example, you can be working on something on one display and say you want to look something up on the other. You can easily flip to the other screen and do whatever you need to do, and then you can always flip back and continue where you left off on the main screen. Now, if this is not your thing, you can also configure the screens to actually mirror each other, so when you flip from one to the other, you'll see exactly what you had on the first one. Now, tying in with the multitasking is a three-finger swipe that actually sends what you're working on to the other screen. So I'm working on something on my main screen here. Let's say I have a bunch of things to do. I can three-finger swipe that over. It's automatically now waiting for me on the rear screen. I can work on what I need to do on the main screen, answer calls, receive texts, and then later in the day I can just check that rear screen and finish off what I was working on earlier. Now, one of my personal favorite features with this phone is the always on display, and you can access it in the settings under the always on display option, and you can choose from different options here from time to video and so on. But first off, in the settings here, you can choose to have the main screen always on or just the second screen, or you can even have both if you wanted to. But I traditionally just leave the secondary screen on, and I have it set between these times so that it automatically stays on between those hours, and at night when I'm asleep, it doesn't need to be on, so it just turns off. Now, there are other settings you could play around with there, but when you're selecting your design, just open up any of these options. I really like these video options because they move around and they really catch attention. So I like this one here. And you can actually change the positioning of the time and how it'll look. So it's going to be below the video now. It's a little bit more condensed and smaller. You can also choose to have the time off or on, so that way it's just the design that you've chosen. I like to have the time on, and I like the original positioning of it being up top. And when you have your phone locked and you have it down on the table, you've got that really cool design, that video, it's always on, it looks so cool, and it definitely is going to catch people's attention and give your phone a really unique feature that not many have right now. Now, in general, this phone is going to handle great. I mean, all the basics like phone calls and text messaging, they're going to work fine. I didn't have any trouble hearing or having the other person on the other line hear me. I found that it paired up great with all my Bluetooth headphones and my Bluetooth devices really well. Playing Spotify and all that stuff through it as well worked great. Sound quality was just good enough. I found that it wasn't as loud as some of these other phones, but it does the job for a phone. And one thing I didn't even realize, that this phone had a screen protector on the front already pre-installed, and it's so precise that it's hard to see unless you really look at it. And that's a nice feature, just like they added the case and the rear screen protector with this phone. So they're giving you the extras that some companies don't. Now, with that being said, this case is a very flimsy, basic case. But if you're planning on using this phone in a rugged environment, I would suggest looking for a more rugged case for it. Moving back to that rear-facing camera, it's really hard to beat in terms of a selfie camera when you have the best camera that you can use on your phone with the ability to see the screen. So if you do Instagram posts, or even if you shoot your YouTube videos with your phone, this is going to be something that's going to take your content to a new level. So it's really a great feature. And this camera has a lot of features built in, like slow motion and a pretty mode, which will kind of smooth out your skin. It has the portrait modes. So if you really like that kind of blurred background effect, you can take advantage of that as well. This is honestly one of the coolest phones that I've used in a very long time. And if you're invested in the Android ecosystem, having the Play Store to download pretty much any app you want, it's going to be really nice. And with the added touch of that rear screen, you're getting something that's really unique at a really good price point. And with all of these features is a 4,000 milliamp hour battery that was able to pretty much get me through every day. Charging it back up is extremely fast with the fast charge, 50% battery in just about 30 minutes. And if you're ever in a battery crunch, you can always flip to that rear screen and use that one, as it's more energy efficient, it's smaller, it doesn't take up as many resources, and that'll hopefully get you through until you can get to a charger. So let me know what you guys think of this phone in the comments below. I'll place some links that you can check out more information about this phone in the description. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.